What's up, y'all? We just did I'm just started it over to get a back real quick. It's connecting with him right now. Yo, yo. Yeah, I think it's a little better, and I can hear you better now too. Yeah, so we back, y'all. I'm just pinning this stuff, just pinning everything back up again. All right, let's see what I got. I think it's coming back right now. But yeah, like I was telling people before that I have up here with me. Now I appreciate you coming on, man. Like I said, you one of my guys that I've known for a while now since you was in Lil U. When I called you when I first started coaching 15s, was that my first year with the 15 EYBLT? I called you guys over, you, Dejor, Marquise. Who else came over there? Y'all came over and scrimmaged my guys for me and all that. Like it ain't every time I ask you to do something for me, you do it for me. I can't. You know what I'm saying? You came down and made me look like a superstar coach in Georgia. You know, you know what I'm saying? So, nah, I appreciate it, yo. I ain't say that earlier, but nah, I definitely appreciate you, joining on and always always keep it in the stack with me for sure. You, little bro Malik, your pops. Like I said, I knew your pops for a minute back in the day because he's from Hampton or whatever. So, but we was talking a little bit about HU and the differences in the conferences or whatever. So, you think the play probably was a little better, like the individual play in MEAC probably was a little better and a little faster, but the with the Big South, it seemed like the coaches try to control the game a little bit more, try to slow you down a little bit more. How did it go for after a while you start scoring a lot of points, everybody kind of knows what it is with you. They know you coming to get a bucket or whatever. So how was it when people started playing those trick defenses? I know in high school, if you're good in high school and you better than everybody in high school, that's just what it's going to be. But I know in college, once people start game planning for you a little bit more, they may try to put different defenders on you, different size and stuff like that. How was you able to adjust to all that when you got to school? Once you started, building up your resume and all that.
For me, personally, a lot of the coaches would try 7, 6, 8s just to try to throw some length. But me, I was always being aggressive, and it was when the pass gonna be there, when it's not. Because most of the teams want me to pass, so it was kind of easy because I would make 3, 4 assists, and by that time the defense gonna be nervous about, is he gonna really pass it? Is he gonna shoot it? Like, coach, I thought you said he was gonna shoot. Got it. So it was just playing mind games with the defense, thinking.
Right, so they trying to play mind games with you, and you trying to play mind games with them back. It's like a chess game. You always try to stay in front of them a little bit, but I see that does work though, especially with a scorer like yourself. If they see you distributing the ball a little bit, and then your guys getting into it, it starts getting real tricky after a while. And I saw the kid last year, Staley. He ended up coming up real big for you all too. I remember him when he played in high school at the school in Richmond. Damn, what was the name of that school? Oh man. I remember seeing him play. He played private school because he played for this guy Jones that I know from up there. But I saw him in high school. I didn't think he was that good, but he did some different things last year.
He put in a lot of work though. Like it didn't come to him like, I mean, his freshman year he averaged 4 points. Going into his sophomore year, that boy was in the gym every day.
Oh, so he worked. He was a gym rat.
Gym rat. I ain't met too like that.
Millwood, that's where he went to school at. Yeah, he went to Millwood in Richmond. I seen him play at Millwood twice because they had another kid there that was pretty good too. Because I remember him because he played for a Baltimore team. Is he from Baltimore? Yeah, he played for a Baltimore AAU team when he was coming through with the AAU rankings or whatever, stuff like that. So how was, as a whole, what do you think, what I'm saying? Like I said, I jump around a little bit. So as a whole, how did you think your college career went for you?
Personally, for me, I could have scored more if I really wanted to. And my senior year, I got hurt, so I missed like 7 games. As a whole, I mean, I was pretty satisfied. I left stuff on the table. Got to a championship twice.
Right. Yeah. The Radford joint was a heartbreak when they beat y'all. What, they beat y'all overtime at home?
Yeah.
And that was that going to be for regular season, or that was just the end of the year game?
For us, that was going to be to second place or third place.
Right, so it would have helped y'all seeding in the conference a little better.
Losing the next game, and then I think we ended up falling to like 7.
Right, so that's gonna hurt your conference play then. Yeah, that was a big game. I think it took a lot of y'all. It was a big game because they had I remember when y'all played Raffle, they had the two, the guys from around the way, Travis from around the way, and Donald Hicks from around the way. So I'm sure they had a lot of folks in there. And y'all used to always battle with Travis when y'all were young, and he played for the teams from across the water. When he played with he played with the Wildcats too. He was a Wildcat kid too. Yeah, he was crazy with the Wildcats too. I forgot all of them was with the Wildcats back then. The Wildcats was crazy back then. I couldn't get none of y'all to play for the Hampton Hoyas, though. I was struggling trying to get people to play with us with the Hampton Hoyas. And then, like I said, your pops had the team. Y'all had a mom when you was little too.
Yeah, we played hard.
We're
gonna play hard.
Yeah, y'all had a mom when y'all was little, yo. You was crazy. Malik was crazy, and Robbie. I don't know if people knew Robbie Robinson was like that back in the day.
It's like that.
Robbie Robinson was like that back in the day when he played basketball. I can't even hold you on that. He was dope. Now, with some good advice that you could give, like you said, you've been playing, and BG helped you out a lot because BG is young. I think BG might have just turned 30. You know what I'm saying? So with BG being a young OG in the game himself, now you're out of college. You know what I mean? What's some good advice that you give some of these young boys that's going through and trying to get through where you're getting to?
Just always be yourself. Like, don't try to be something you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Always be you, whether you're on the court or off the court. On the court, you don't never second guess. You don't want to never go out. You thinking too much. You always want to be yourself. At the end of the day, they don't like you for you. So just always.
Right. And what do you think? Like, because me and Matt was talking about you. So the confidence that you have, right? That you have in yourself, that you have in Jermaine. And you think that's something that you were just born with, or you think it just happened because your game started getting better? Like I said, I caught whiff of it. You was like a 6th grader.
Oh, for real, I know. I think I was born with it because I always talk trash. Like,
right.
Tennis, like, it don't matter. Like, I'm all.
Right, because I was like, yo, he is talking the whole game. I was like, yo, he would not stop. And I said, and he's going crazy. So that make it even worse that he's talking and going crazy at the same time. But I think with people like yourself that could play like that on that level, it's kind of hard to take you off of your game. You know what I mean? Like, because you already into it from the start. You know what I'm saying? You into it, you mentally focused. And I think you talking a little bit, that just keeps you going. It keeps you playing a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It keeps you on your toes playing hard. You know what I mean?
Can't talk and play.
Right.
If I get to talking, then I get to scoring, and then you talking back to me, you're not on your game.
Right. And that may take them off their game. I noticed that a lot. That takes people off their game when they're trying to talk and try to keep up with what you got going on. Because I remember we was in Augusta, the kid that we played down there, I think he went to Arkansas. They had a point guard that was pretty good. And he was supposed to be all right. I think he went to Arkansas or something. Arkansas Little Rock. He was a little light-skinned point guard. But I think he was trying to keep up with you in that game. And you was rolling and rolling and rolling. You was talking and talking and talking. And I think it just talked him right out of his game. And he couldn't never, it didn't work for him. Like you said, if you can talk and play at the same time, it's a whole different thing. Now, so you say you working out down in Carolina. I know you went to CP3 camp last year. That was with some of those college guys and high school guys at the camp that you was at. How was that? Because I caught a little clips of Matt, a guy that works at HU. He sent me a clip of you, kind of like getting some individual instructions from Chris Paul. So how was that whole little, that experience for you down there with him?
It was cool because, before I even got to the camp, like, he knew who I was. Like, it wasn't like he didn't was like he was more intrigued as the same as I was about his. Like, he knew like knew some of the, like, he was calling out some of my stats from my games. It was crazy that man really knew who I was. And I went to the camp and
Yeah, because I heard there was some NBA scouts out there too at the camp and stuff like that too. And Chris Paul, he's one of those type of dudes. He's a fiery dude.
almost every NBA team was there. And I mean, and he's definitely fiery because when he was playing the top of the seat, he trying to go at us.
Yes, yes. Like it's always like at all those camps like that when the NBA guys come back, you see pictures of people guarding LeBron and people guarding Chris Paul. Like when you play the Chris ball, I'm like, no. And people be like, yo, do they go at those guys as hard? I'm like, yo, they going at them like it's another, like they making 40 million just like him. He's going at. I said, Chris Paul is going at you. Yeah, because he don't want you to even leave there with a glimpse of thinking that you can handle him. He don't even want you to think you can handle him, so he gonna make sure that he takes that right off of the plate. Like, nah, you ain't as good as me, but you good though. You know what I mean?
One thing about CP, he gonna let you know you ain't as good. You go out there.
So, and who else was down there? Marcus Evans down there that year too with you?
Marcus was down there.
Matt was down there. Marcus was down there. Justin Robinson was there too, wasn't he?
So we had like 5 Williams guards there.
Yeah, because I know Cam was on the high school side. So I think they kept y'all separate though, didn't they?
We didn't get to play with them, and they had the youngin too that committed to Western Kentucky.
Zion was there. He sure was there. He sure was there. Zion is in town now. We got some guys in town now working them out and stuff like that. Zion was there. I forgot Zion was there because I was getting pictures from John Lopez, the photographer and stuff. He was sending me pictures of y'all while y'all was out there. He was going crazy too.
Yeah.
Huh? I
said, you sent me the pictures that's on my Instagram right now from
that. Yeah. That joint. I was so mad because I actually was supposed to work the middle school camp that year, and I couldn't go because of my job or whatever. I had just missed time because of Peach Jam and all this other stuff. You know how summertime ball be crazy or whatever. So I couldn't make it down there right there. So right now we touched on it a little bit. You're in the history books right now as HU's all-time leader scorer. You know what I'm saying? What type of work ethic and discipline did that take for you to get there?
It took a lot. I mean, because just like we were saying earlier, if you better than ain't got to put in that much work. In college, you keep getting better. They bring in somebody that's going on. So for me, it was just about getting.
Yeah.
I had to get better every year. Everything, points, assists, everything had to get better.
You might need to say that one more time for the young people that's here. What do they do every year? What is the college coach gonna do every year? He gonna bring in somebody what?
You have one good year, you might think you'll secure that next year, and then if you have a bad year, they're gonna bring somebody in right behind you, do the same thing that you do.
Right. Every year. That's what I try to tell people. Like, when you go to sign that paper and they telling you what your scholarship is gonna be, they giving you that scholarship or that full ride, but every single year you got to go back in there and bust your butt, or somebody's coming to take your money. They may not take your money from you immediately, but they may come take your minutes, and then if your production start going down, you never know what else is going to start happening.
I mean, for a scholarship is just like a contract, an overseas an NBA contract. Because the next year they can get rid of you if they really don't want you.
Right. You got to go in there and talk about your scholarship every year at the end of the season. I don't think a lot of young people know that. So at the end of every season, y'all go back in there and talk about your scholarship and stuff like that, how that's going for you. And some of those conversations are probably tough conversations for some kids.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely if it's a where they thought you was going to have a year and a half, the conversation's going to be tough.
Yeah, see, a lot of people don't know that, with colleges. Exactly. My man just said, my man that's in here right now. What's up, BG? I didn't even see you had joined. My dude, he played football on HU. He could say they used to call it a blue chair talk. We used to go in the football office with back then. That's what Coach Taylor was the HU football coach. He said they used to call it blue chair talk. You go sit in the blue chair in his office and you talk about if you gonna get that money back or not. I said that's crazy, but they really do that every single year.
That's real.
You got to bring it. So, and then in 2019, we're gonna touch on in 2019, you had announced that you was going into the transfer portal, and then you removed yourself. You know what I mean? Do you think what kind of sparked that for you? Did you think it was because you thought you could play on another level? You thought you could get something else out of it while you were still in college?
I mean, at the time, it was just trying to get more exposure. because I thought I should have exposure than what I get. I mean, I had just like these dudes. I had almost every school in the country hit me up, but for me it was just knew what was home, but then at the day it was like I wanted to try something new, and it was like I don't.
Yeah, because I remember when the news hit, you know what I mean? I think I seen it on Twitter first, and then I was at the Sportsplex. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, Jermaine gonna leave. I said, I know he can play anywhere that if he does want to leave, he can go play. I had supreme confidence in you doing it, but I was just like, man, it's gonna be tough on, you know what I'm saying, on HU. Then I was hoping, like, if you did leave though, to make sure that you made the right decision for somebody who was going to let you be Mayno and not try to come there and try to, you know what I'm saying, to put some, you know, to kind of hold you back a little bit or whatever. But then you end up staying, and like you said, the rest is history. From there, you did a lot of big things at Hampton. I think you guys, you know, along with some of the guys who played there before you guys, were probably part of the reason why they wanted to go ahead and go to the Big South and get out of the MEAC and start doing some more things right there. So you kind of was a trailblazer with that too, because I think Hampton's been in the MEAC since I got when I was in school. I think we had just gotten the MEAC, maybe like '96 or '97, and then so they went from '97 on all the way up until last year in the MEAC. And I know how Harvey is. I know he probably wanted to elevate the school, elevate the sports program and stuff like that. So I figured that's what he was going to do. Now, we used to hear a bit about what, you know, your mentorship around here. Like you talked about Coach Graves earlier. You know, I know Chuck has talked to you guys, or AI has talked to you guys a little bit. It's a lot of guys that's come from the 757 as a whole, and a lot of guys from our city, Hampton and Newport News alone. Who's some of the guys that you kind of looked up to with your game and that kind of talked you through some stuff as you was coming through as a youngin' yourself?
I mean, just like you said, yeah, BG. For me, BG, like the point guard that I seen, like that other than like NBA dudes, because I really wasn't seeing that many NBA dudes.
Right.
At that, I thought it'd been an NBA.
Right.
Like coming from a D2, he was tough, bro. Like I ain't seen too many people that when he was in his prime that was doing what he was doing.
Oh, BG was a big bucket.
My father, even though he didn't play basketball for real, but he was still knew about the game. Like he knew certain. When we worked out, it was good workout. I had Ricardo Ratliff played at Missouri. A lot of my old heads, Coach T, Chief. A lot of dudes that from Newport News or that went to Heritage. I had Diggs. I mean, it was a lot of people.
Yeah, because like I said, that Heritage lineage is pretty tough. I know KE was over there with you when you was young. BG was the coach. Lou, I know Lou reaches back to Heritage. Well, Lou is back coaching at Heritage right now, so Lou is always a good guy to have around. He's a good guy for the city itself, and I know he's a good guy for Heritage and being able to show the kids to go to college, you know what I mean, and come back. You know, and now he's a teacher in the school. Like, just talk about that. Like, you yourself, like, being a college graduate. How did that make you feel? Like, you know, did you ever think that did you think that you was going to be a college graduate and go to college and graduate?
No. I got it probably didn't hit me that I was going to graduate until I was probably like a junior or something. Like it's really like I'm really going to be done with school after what I done seen when I was through. Like I didn't think how everything just happened with the basketball. It was just so crazy. It felt like a dream. It still felt like a day.
Because I remember I talked to you one time before. This was another time at an open gym, and we talked about it. And there was some kids that was from the area that was supposed to be coming to Hampton. And you was like, Coach, like, yo, tell them like what Hampton is about. You was telling me how, you know, everybody know Hampton has a lot of women there. It's been like that since I was in college myself. You know what I mean? And then you was like, Coach, I'm gonna get a degree. They're gonna make sure I get my degree. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy. Like, you know, kids passing up this opportunity right here, you know what I'm saying, at Hampton University. And at that time, I think Graves was still on staff then. I think Matt was on staff then at the time. And I think Akeem might have been on staff with y'all too. Was Matt and Akeem there at the same time?
They was there at the same time, but it was a year before I got there.
Before you got there, okay.
And Coach
Oh, okay. So yeah, so I was telling guys, like, I remember taking kids to see Hampton play. I'm like, yo, you see how hard they playing? This is, like you said, this is Hampton. This is the MEAC. Like, this is Division I basketball. And I think people, sometimes take it for granted. You know what I mean? They may not think that it's going, you know, that it's that big or the hoop scene ain't there. Like, no, they put a lot of work in over there. You know what I mean? They got a nice convocation center. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I really like kids, you know, choosing that. How do you feel about this big HBCU push that's been going on?
I mean, I think it's gonna happen, or top 100 guys gonna start going to HBCU, because I mean the competition is not. It's not really guards, or it's not really like the only difference in the high majors is the weight program and it's in big man. It's not really a difference. Like every really almost gonna be the same. The difference is between the big in conference, it might be straight 6'7", 6'7", and 6'10" big men, and you go somewhere at a big school, you bound to be 10, 7'5". That's all the really. It's just the size.
Right, because that's what I figured that's the big difference. Because it seems like the guard player is going to be even. Like, you can play with any guard. Like, when y'all go play anywhere, you can play with any guard. It's not going to be no big difference for you. But like you said, they're going to go from 6'7", 6'8" bigs to a 7-foot big, or a 6'11" big, or a 6'10" big like that. So yeah, that's what I figured out. That's probably like the biggest thing that changed everything for, you know, at Hampton right now. Let me see. So from going through that, and did you guys went and played? What was the post grad tournament that y'all played in? Not post grad, but the post tournament that y'all played in when you was there. Did y'all go play in March?
Yeah, we played in March every year I was there, other than my senior year. I played in the NIT my sophomore year.
Yeah.
And I think it was called the CIT. My junior year, we went to like
the CIT. Was that in California or Vegas?
It was.
I think ODU went to that.
You went to whoever was the highest seed, just like the NIT. You go to their gym.
Oh, okay.
I think that year, I forgot where we had a game at home. Then we played, what is it, NJIT?
Yeah, NJIT up in Jersey.
And we played
up in Jersey.
Played Marshall when they had John Elmore. It was me and Joe was a big
match.
Yeah.
BG said Notre Dame his last year, so I do remember that. No bull, I do remember that.
Had the 4-man close. Notre Dame did. They had a 4-man, and they had a point guard that was tough.
I remember that. So we're going into March 8th, 2020. You know what I'm saying? Of this year, you played your final game as a college student against a good Winthrop team. And then go like you wanted. I think you had, I think you finished with like 18 or 20 something that game. You spoke about how tough the kid is from downtown Newport News and all that you accomplished. How did it feel like when it all came to an end for you? Though, was it, you know what I'm saying? Like, did it go by fast for you?
It definitely went by fast. For real, like a year ago, I was just a freshman. Like, if just like you had to say, if I had to tell like the youngins, you just got to take everything serious, because you never know when it's gonna be your last time. Like, you never know. Like, every part of that game, so anything you do in life serious, because you never know when it's gonna be the last time you're doing it.
Now, and then when they interviewed you, you talked about how tough it was, like being a kid from downtown Newport News. You know what I'm saying? Going through some of the adversity you went through, going through some of the stuff that you saw, and being from there, and then you got to what you was able to do and accomplish so many things. Now, what do you think you want to do for your community? You know, someone like, you know, like someone did for you, like a BG did for you, that was from your community. He's a downtown Newport News kid, just like you're a downtown Newport News kid. How do you think you want to reach back to your community and help out some more young kids with you? It could even just, you know, being a mentor, or, you know, how do you think you would handle that going forward as, you know, being as an old guy?
I say when I'm done hooping, I want to build a court in a little rec center. But I mean, I always give back the heritage. Always going back to hooping. Anytime even though I'm in Charlotte right now, when I go up there, if I'm on the Chief, know he gonna be one of the first people I call. Him and Lou, like, let's gotta better, like.
Yeah, because I think it's real big. Like I said, it was I was talking to Buck about it. You know what I'm saying? Once you broke the record, I sent it over to my guy that's from DC that played at Hampton too, and I was like, yo, this is kind of like real big. You know, a kid who got the all-time leading scorer record is from, you know what I'm saying, from downtown Newport News. It's not, you know, Rick Mahorn is a big name. You know, Detroit Pistons, Bad Boys. He held the record for a long time. I was just looking at the little edit that we had done. He held that record for a long time. So for you to get it and knock it down like that, and you probably could have stretched it out some more because you probably missed, like you said, your senior year, you missed 7 games and you missed some games the year before. So did you already know, you knew like going into that game you probably was going to get? I think you got it at the free throw line.
Yeah, I knew. I mean, because it was so big around, you got to get it. Like, it's like, bro, you like 10 points away. Like, you got to get it. And I think that game, I think at first I was crazy. Like, I had like, I think I needed like 16 to get. I think I had 15. And
in the first half, yeah.
10 shots.
And then you won't score no more. Then you won't score no more. They got it at the free throw line.
Like, dang, I'm 1 point away in history. Like, my go down forever. Like, and then I end up getting and made the free throw. From there, I went.
Yeah, that was big. And you did it at home too. So you did it at home in front of people. You know what I'm saying, and all that. So then, you know, we've been calling you the Mayno show for a minute. How did that feel with people looking at that?
I mean, that's tough. I mean, because that nickname came around 10 years. I was going crazy. But, I mean, like, from now, like any interview I get, most of the people gonna be like, "Yeah, we here, Mayno show." It's crazy that, I mean, it just with me forever now.
It's stuck. Yeah, because I remember when you was going crazy your senior year for Heritage, and then a lot of the videographers and all that was coming to the game. I remember one game at Bethel. You was in that joint, and you was like, "I get buckets." I think Drew was there. I think Drew started coming to the games a lot. You started making a lot of noise on his side, and Drew was probably one of the dopest, videographers from around the way. I think he kind of like kept spearhead that whole movement of videographers out here. So he was coming to your game, and then I think he started putting the Mayno show, and then you said, "I get buckets." I said, "Oh yeah, he's going crazy out here." You know what I mean? I was just like, "This is nuts," and I was just like always like so in awe of everything. You know what I'm saying? At Heritage, y'all had a good team, yo. Y'all had that team. I thought y'all could have won it that year with that group. Cause was it Mello still on that team?
Yeah, we went to the Final Four.
That's what I thought.
We had that went to Brian and Stratton. Lee Richardson, he went to Brian and Stratton too. I had Jaleel.
He at Mount Olive right now.
So yeah, we had a mob, but it was just like nobody really knew who those guys was at that time. Like,
Like I'm like, who could have beat y'all? Who beat y'all in the playoffs? They had to be good to be able to beat y'all in the playoffs.
We lost in the state Final Four. We went to VC.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, I remember y'all made it all the way up.
I either want to say we lost to Monacan because they ended up winning the state championship, or GW Danville.
I think y'all lost to Monacan because Monacan had my guy that played at he played for River City Rain and with the VMI, the point guard, Parham.
Yeah.
I think it was Monacan that got y'all that year. But Monacan was a pretty good program though. They had a good girls program and a good boys program at that time too. You know what I mean? So yeah, I do remember it being Monacan and all that. You know what I mean? So when you get all those accolades about like, and then you was the all-time leader scorer in Virginia, like out of all the D1 players, is that something else that I saw too?
Yeah, was it the D1 Virginia?
That's crazy. did you finish with 24? Did you finish with 24-20, or that's just what it took you to get over Rick Mahorn?
I
for your
finished
senior year.
2680.
2680. Oh, you stretched it out some more. You had some more games. Oh, they lost to Danville. That's what BG just said. Y'all lost to Danville in the state tournament. Danville, them country boys was good too back then. They normally be okay.
It's me and John Elmore. We the only people with 2,600 points and over 500 in college basketball.
That's crazy.
And I would have had the record, had the whole 27, but the corona, so we didn't get to play.
Yeah. So corona came and deaded y'all joint. What? Because y'all was playing.
Yeah. We was gonna probably get the CIT again.
Yeah, because y'all was still playing. So you would definitely scored some more points by then if the corona didn't hit. And then so when the corona did hit, it just ended your season and ended your college career. Like it was a few more y'all that probably was seniors on that joint. How did it affect you, like mentally? How was y'all able to handle that?
I mean, at first when the corona hit, I didn't know how it was gonna affect me because at that time I was really almost done with school, really getting ready for the draft, and I was gonna play. I got invited to the PIT. I got invited to a couple combines, and I was gonna work out with teams, but when they had corona, it just shut down for me. It just really, it was tough.
I was going to touch on that too. I wanted to touch on that because like somebody like yourself, even though you had a big name, you was one of the leading scorers in the nation. I think you was third in the country in scoring. You still were coming from Hampton and coming from the Big South, so people still probably was, swaying if you could play on the next level a lot. So the camps, pre-draft camps, and all that stuff, and like the PIT. That kind of like not being able to do that really, 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 I know probably was like really disappointing for you a lot, not being able to show yourself against that talent.
Because if I would have had, like, talking to my agent, if I would have had the PIT that I know I would have had, I could have probably snuck in and got it in the second round. But not having to try to get to where I wanted to get to was gonna be hard. But I mean, the NBA. But it's just like, do I want to wait or do I want to go overseas for me right now?
Because I'm pretty sure like after PIT you can get invited to what, Arizona or Chicago? Does it go from Arizona? I mean, does it go from from Portsmouth to Arizona? I'm pretty sure you could have got the next invite.
Yeah, it go to Port. If I would have had a good Portsmouth, I would have got the Chicago and the NBA the combine.
Right.
But it all depends. Did he do it against top-notch competition every night?
Yeah, and I know because we was talking about that. I was even talking to Mac about Marcel, coming from Catawba, going the same way, even trying to maybe continue to play his basketball overseas and stuff like that, and not being able to go to those pre-draft stuff or stuff like that. That's kind of 2020 was kind of jammed up for with the COVID and all that, but things happen for a reason, you know what I mean? And I think you still be able to get to where you're trying to go to. I think you're still going to be a professional or play and get paid to play basketball and stuff like that, though. Now, I was talking to Buck before, it seemed like Buck had a lot of trust and faith in you as a player. How was your relationship with Buck on and off the court? How you think that was?
I mean, for me, Coach Buck was just like a pop, for real. Because, I mean, he stayed on me. He made sure he stayed on me. He always made sure I was good on and off the court. Like, he would always ask how my pop's doing, how my son doing, is everybody good? Like, he won't just straight back. Or like, I've never played with a coach that was, other than Chief and BG, who like really cared about the person was. Like, he didn't really care about basketball. Of course, that's how he get paid. The better I am, the top he get paid. But he was real genuine about how he treated me, and he was a cool dude. To this day, anything I can call Coach Buck.
Yeah, because Buck still comes around. I still see him in the city and all that. You know, his EJ, little EJ plays in the program, so I still
Yeah.
see Buck quite often. And Buck always, yeah, Buck looks out a lot. Like for tickets for me for homecoming stuff, for you know what I'm saying, he do it all for me. He makes sure I'm good all across the board, all that type of stuff like that. And, you know, so with all those accolades and all that you got at Hampton and all the buckets that you got and everything that happened for you while you were playing there, what do you think the most means to you? Which one means the most to you out of all the accolades that you got at Hampton?
For me, it's probably to be the all-time assist in the D1, in the D1 era at
Mm.
Hampton. For me, because that's something
Mm.
that's probably for sure. They probably thought I can get the points, but the assist was one of the biggest for me.
Yeah, because last year you averaged 6.5 assists a night. That was almost 7 assists a night. So a lot of people probably didn't know you could do that because you averaged 25 and 7. That's pretty impressive at the collegiate level right there, being able to do that. So I know the assist one probably does mean a lot to you because I know a lot of people probably didn't think you was gonna pass the ball at all. You know what I mean? Because you came in with that reputation. You went into Hampton with the reputation as you know what I'm saying, as that. And you took a lot of big shots for Hampton all of the time. You took a lot of big shots at Heritage. When you played in the program, you took a lot of big shots. You know what I mean? You was a big shot taker. You didn't mind taking them. You know, you always had the confidence to think that you was gonna make it. So that was always a good thing. Do you think now? If you didn't choose Hampton, if you would have chose a bigger school, do you think your career would have been any different? Like playing wise, you think you would have been
I
as successful?
probably wouldn't even have made it through college for real, for real. To
Right.
be honest with you, like, cause Coach Buck, they really worked with me from on and off the court, like, cause I wasn't really the best in the classroom at first. Like, I really didn't get how to be a college student until maybe my sophomore year. I think anywhere else I would have probably been done after a freshman or sophomore.
Mm.
For real, to be honest with you.
So that's real deep right there. That's real tough. I want to touch on that a little bit more. And then like telling the people, because like I said, some young kids join in now. So tell them, let's let them understand how hard it is to be a student athlete. You know what I'm saying? As a Division I athlete, everything that you got to juggle, and you still want to have some fun. Like college is a little bit of fun too. Like people think, you know what I'm saying? Like you still want to have some fun. So tell them how how tough your schedule is and how vigorous of a schedule that you guys have as an athlete and being a D1 athlete and a D1 student as well.
I mean, the schedule is, I mean, the work got to be done no matter what you got to do. Like, you could have a game or you could have practice. That work got to be done. It don't matter if it might be a little bit later just because you might be on the road. But when you come back from that game, that excuse and it ain't like high school where they back and do don't happen. You're gonna have to get it done right then and there.
So yeah, because I talked to a few guys that from being in the AAU mix and all that. I know a lot of you guys that's in college and all that. So I talk to guys all the time, and I try to tell the younger guys all the time about how hard it is to be a Division I student athlete. You know what I mean? Like being a college athlete probably on any level is tough, but you know what I mean. And then being at a black school, at a historical black school. I know when I went to Hampton, it seemed like the professors there, they want to help you, they want you to do better, you know what I mean, when you go
Yeah.
to historical black school, but it seems like they're always tough on you too, because it's like they don't want you to take for granted the opportunity that you have, because they're looking at you like, as a young black male going into the real world after you graduate. So it seemed like when I was there, and some of the same professors are still there now, it seems like they're on you a little bit more, because they're looking at you, they know that you gotta, in order to make it out here in society and stuff like that, they know that you got to give a little bit more than the average person. So that's why I always looked at something like at an HBCU. They always the professors, it seemed like they were on you a little bit tough too. So we talked about this a little bit a minute ago about COVID, and it dampened like a lot of your tryouts and and camps and stuff like that. What you doing to stay sharp though right now?
I mean, I'm down here working out Well, with my boy Ian, he one of the top players. He was he was in France a couple years ago. He one of the top players overseas. He played at Florida State. We working out with this dude named Randall, Steph Curry. Like I'm real good with his peoples out here. So that's really why I came out here to get that work in.
Just to get some work in. So that's how you taking care of yourself during COVID or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, like, how do you prepare for games? Is there any, like, do you do any routines? Do you listen to music? You do anything like that to get yourself ready?
Yeah. I mean, while I was at Hampton, my last 2 years, I would have Dunkin' Donuts before every game. For sure, I'm having two second cheese croissants and give me a glazed donut. Glazed donut depending on the game, matter how I'm feeling.
Right.
And I'm listening to straight Chief Keef the whole day.
Right, that's what I figured. I figured that's how the name came about. All that from back in the day, like the Almighty.
Yeah, Almighty.
I'm a little hip. I'm a little hip to it a little bit. I'm a little hip. I kind of knew where that came from a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna hold you because I remember like when I was still coaching at Kickatan. I think Chief Keef had a joint with about Kobe. Was it a song Kobe?
Yeah,
Didn't he have a song named Kobe? Yeah. So I used to leave the locker room, like, after we'd get the guys dressed or whatever, then I give them a little time to chill in the locker room and kick it or whatever. But I could hear that song blasting all the way in the gym from the locker room when they was being the gym.
Hey, you see they in the comments laughing right now, Chief. Anytime, that's all I'm gonna listen to. Chief.
I already knew because that's why I knew that's where the nickname came from. I knew that for real. Oh, what's up, Rod? Rod playing in the program too, and I see Rico in here too.
I know Rod tough. Rod's a straight bucket.
Yeah, he was crazy. I remember when he played at Potomac in high school. I remember all of that. I be knowing all that. So how long are you staying down in Charlotte to work out?
I'm gonna probably be out here until about the middle of August, until whenever my agent tell me it's time to go overseas. Because I'm gonna probably go overseas take a deal overseas and come back the last 3 months and play in the G League.
Well, you gonna try the G League thing and see how that goes.
Yeah.
Because the G League, I think the NBA has put a little bit more into the G League now too. I think they're looking at the guys a little bit more. I think they really use it as I think it's more development now in the G League than it was before. And I think they're really taking a look into it right now. What do you think about? You think they're gonna get rid of the one and done rule? You think they're gonna let the guys go straight out of high school in a couple of years?
Yeah. When Lil Bronny when he is gonna be straight. You can leave out of high school.
Yeah, probably him because I think his class. I think Bronny's 2022. You know what I mean? So I think that class there, and the kid Amani Bates, that's from Michigan. If he does it like reclass up, I think he's 2022 too. So I think that'll be the year that they try to let the guys go straight into college. I was hearing something that he may reclass to 2021. If he do that, he probably is going to go to Michigan State, like he committed to or whatever. But I was thinking that he was going to reclass up to 2021 or whatever then. So that would be kind of tough there. So playing against that, you know what I mean. So you look for who was one of your toughest opponents that you played against in the MEAC.
I gotta say, Brandon Tabb, he won Player of the Year that year. I got out Brandon Tabb. He was one of the best players in the MEAC. Tabb was tough because a lot of people didn't know Tabb when he was coming up. Like, Tabb was tough.
That's dope that you shouted Tabb out because he was kind of looked over a little bit while he was in high school though. He didn't make no big AAU teams or none of that. He didn't make no big AAU teams, but he went to Florida.
What's the boy Charles Williams? He got he was tough too. Those was probably the two best dudes in the MEAC.
Who you think? Who's one of some of your best guys in the Big South?
Carly transferred to Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
He was probably the best guard. Travis
is tough.
Bills. And they was on the same team. So you have another boy named He went to Charleston Southern. His name was Flynn Dorsey. He was tough. Christian Keelan, he ended up transferring to UNC for his last year. So he started UNC last year.
Wow.
The Big South has theirs in it for sure.
Right.
Carly Jones.
Dang, that's crazy. I didn't know all of them. And then they all transferred out and transferred up to bigger schools. So that is crazy. Did you do any of those open runs out here? You do any open runs out here when they've been playing out here, or you been gone?
When I was out there, I was hooping in Virginia Beach. Oh yeah, you're right, BG.
Clemens.
Clemens was number 1 and Carly number 2. I be forgetting. Hey, I got to shout out. Clemens is my boy. He gave us 48 at day.
Word?
48. He had 48. That he's a problem.
So
he's a problem.
So while that was going on, right, what was you thinking in your head while he's going for 48, 50 points? What you thinking?
I'm like, damn, he really ain't saying a word.
Word?
Yo, B, he ain't say nothing the whole game. I mean, one time I was talking to dude on a team, and he looked at him like, if you say something to him, bro, like, he ain't say one word. I'm like, RJ Cole was one of the toughest in the NBA too, but he was like, I was like, boy, that's a tough bucket. He looked at me like, yeah, I know. Like, ain't say nothing.
Word?
He was
BG
tough,
said he
bro,
had 42 and 44 versus Longwood.
He was a killer. He was a killer, bro. Like, that's why he in the NBA right now. Like, he was a killer. And he was 5'9" and will dunk on you for real.
Oh, so he had a lot of work. He just had a lot of work in the joint.
Yo, I'm not even like, bro. He really looked like Saquon Barkley, bro. Like his body was big. Like, he was tough, bro.
He was like a little muscle.
He was the best guard I played in college.
Word. Period.
Best player I played.
Yeah, because I'm sure y'all played some out of conference games against some big schools, but that didn't matter.
Yeah, I played a couple dudes that got drafted. I played Devin Hall. Devin Hall was tough, but Chris Clemens was tough. Like,
yo, I'm trying to remember the game that you played, right? You played against a game, and you played against it was a big school, true. I can't think of the name of it. But the coach, they interviewed the coach at halftime, and he was like, that number 2 is doing a lot of talking. He's a pretty good player. I cannot remember who that was.
I think it was against Kansas State.
I think it was. If Max said K-State, it was K-State. He was like, that Marrow, that number 2, he's a pretty darn good player. And he's doing a lot of talking. I said, oh, yeah, he's talking about Jermaine, for sure. I said, Jermaine out there talking crazy and getting buckets. You know what I'm saying? I think you had a big game against them. I think you had at least a dub plus against them, too. You had a big game against them. Yeah, it was K-State. That's tough, yo. I remember that because that game was on TV.
Because that year they ended up having the boy Awandu. He ended up being drafted. 25. He was like a 6'7" point guard. He played with the Magic right now.
Mark said you had 28 against K-State. That's
something
Maurice
like that.
Mark in the joint. Yeah, shit. I ain't know. I knew you got off against them because at halftime, coach said something about you. So I was like, a coach ain't gonna say nothing about the other team's player unless he's really getting busy. And I think they knew that you could play there. I think you was already pretty much like on the scout, and you still was getting your thing off or whatever. So I think he was a little tight behind that joint. But that's crazy that you did that against them. No bull, that was crazy.
But it's a crazy story that many people don't even know. Like my first game in at Hampton was the scrimmage. My first scrimmage in Hampton, I had 30. The first scrimmage I ever played with in Hampton, we played against Liberty, and I had 30 the first scrimmage. Like, cause I think. Matter of fact, we had a scrimmage earlier that week. BG can attest to this. We had a scrimmage earlier that week. I was suspended, couldn't even play in the scrimmage. So I didn't play in the first scrimmage, didn't practice the first week. I think I came in 2 days before the Liberty scrimmage. You feel me? The coach told me, like, yeah, you gonna play. I ended up playing, and I had 30 the first scrimmage. At Liberty, my first game. I might have had like 4 college practices the whole time. And had the first game.
BG just said facts, too.
He was there. Because after the game, Coach Buck was like, he asked BG, like, yo, do I give him the tools now or do I wait? And BG was like, man, just let him earn it. Like let him really earn it. Like don't just one game. And then from there, 3-4 games down the road, I end up becoming the man. Led the team in scoring.
You know, BG wasn't gonna just give it to you, even though he knew you was his guy. So you know, he just wasn't gonna give it to you. You know, he was gonna try to make you earn it or whatever. That was dope that he was there to be there with you through some of that. That somebody that coached during high school recruited you there, and then you was there to be there for some of that. That he was able to do that. Hey, what's going on? HU alumni. That's what's up. Man, I think Mayno screen froze a little bit. I'm gonna give it a second. Yeah, I think his screen froze. I think it might have kicked him out. I'm gonna give it a second for him to come back. Yo, Malik, what it do, boss? And then y'all can send some joints. I ain't gonna keep them all night because we had to stop twice. Yo, and if y'all got some questions or whatever, y'all can send them. Oh, you play ball there too? Okay. I probably seen you. I definitely seen you if you play ball at HU. But yeah, if y'all got questions or whatever, y'all can send them in to send them in through the chat or either send them in through the little question thing down there. We'll ask Jermaine some of those questions too. But we'll let him get back in for just a moment, and I'm gonna let him go. I ain't gonna keep him all night. You said he's the ultimate bot. Jermaine was having some audio issues too a little bit, so I'll let him come back on. I'm gonna text him and see if he all right. Y'all see the brand B-Ball Talk with Coach B. All my guests is getting one. I'm shipping them out tomorrow. I meant to do it today, y'all, but I'm shipping them out tomorrow to everybody that's been on the show. I'm shipping them out tomorrow. I got everybody one that's been on. I'm just gonna ship them out. Everybody sent me he said he's stealing his neighbor's Wi-Fi. Yeah, I'm sending them out. Oh yeah, you play with Jeff and Devin and them. Oh yeah. I definitely saw you play. Cause I know Jeff and I know Devin Green. He said he's stealing his neighbor's Wi-Fi. I think somebody sent us a question too, y'all. Yo, your brother is crazy, yo. He is crazy.
Hey, now my phone died.
Oh, it's all good. I ain't gonna, like I told him, I ain't gonna hold you all night. But just when you did declare for the draft, right? So you did get to go to some camps though, didn't you? Or you didn't
Yeah. I got the my agent, I signed with Austin Walton and with the Heritage.
With the Heritage, right.
Yeah, I signed with him. So when I declared for the draft, my first year, my junior year, I worked out down in Atlanta with TSF.
Yeah, down there with that's funny because that's who picked you up when you was with me in Georgia.
Yeah. He was working the NBA workouts with me.
Yeah.
Terrell. He was working the jumps with me.
Terrell, T.O.
Who else? I think I want to say it was every team there was in the workout but two or something like that. Like he had every NBA team there. Like,
yeah, he called us about you or whatever. And I'm like, I'm sure he probably would want to do it or whatever. He's like, we're gonna take care of the accommodations or whatever for him when they get down here and all that. I was like, well, I'm sure he's gonna want to do that. I mean, when he hit me up about that or whatever, he hit Ted too. BG said, what's the toughest game you played in 4 years? Your 4 years in school.
I I probably got to go that Radford game when he gamed me. A double overtime. That game was crazy.
That game was nuts, yo.
That game was crazy. From having 20 in the first half, that game was just crazy.
That game was crazy. It is crazy.
That's one of the best college games for real in like the last 10 years, man. That game was crazy.
That game was nuts. I was at that game too. Oh, Rob Johnson did go to Norfolk State. That runs the Skills Factory. Yeah, yep. They started school. He do go to Norfolk.
I'm still cool with Rob right now. Like I hit him up in the DMs whenever I'm in Atlanta. He gonna work me out.
Yeah, I met him up at Hargraves this year when I went up there to see some kids.
Yeah, good people.
Yeah, this guy. Tell us what your name is too. RTGB trainer. He said he played at HU. I think he said from 04 to 08. He said, how does it feel to be the all-time leader scorer? We touched on it a little bit, but you could touch on it again.
I mean, it's a crazy feeling to come from Newport News, and anytime I walk into Hampton or any spot in Newport News, most people know me from playing basketball or from being an all-time leading scorer. So for me, it's just a crazy feeling.
Adrian Woodard, your name does sound a real familiar.
Yeah, he played with when they had my boy Dev Green.
Dev Green was on that team. Yeah. He said Malik and your man said that UVA was on you and Illinois was on you.
Yeah, but that don't matter. That's I still gave Illinois 25. But UVA had the toughest defense I've ever seen in my life. Devin was on that team. Devin Hard is from the 7-5. They were crazy.
So that pack line defense and all that, when they talk about UVA defense, is really that crazy.
It's serious. It's serious.
Because they stamped their defense. They stamped that defense. And that's so. Yeah. Old boy was on that team too then. Mama D, because you knew Mama D too.
Mama D. They had Kyle Guy.
Yeah.
All them dudes that lost in that game.
And Mama D was flying around like a maniac. He was doing that when he was young, so I know he was doing that. I know he was doing that.
And I could talk because BG ain't never beat me in college neither.
Oh, BG's in here.
He ain't never beat me. He 0-2. I think 0-3, matter of fact.
And Malik said UVA was the he said that's the game he seen you struggle the most at probably ever.
I don't even think I shot. I might have been 2 for 10 the whole game. Like, I couldn't even get up nothing.
Yeah, BG just said y'all shot 31% as a team, so I know you probably ain't do that well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think I was like 2 for 10 the whole game, or 2 for 11 with 11 points, something like that.
Oh, yeah. And they don't care about it being a low-scoring game. They like that. So they'll make it.
Like, and they don't care. And they don't care who you is. Like, they're going to run their pack line defense. It don't matter against who. They're going to run it against.
They're going to still do it. He said, I'm just the assist, but you got it.
Hey, because I remember when I was young, BG was always telling me, like, man, you gotta get as many assists as me in college before you can talk. I got more assists and points.
Yeah. He said, and Malik said them boys is disciplined. UVA, I'm sure, was super disciplined with Tony Bennett. Yeah, super. I know they not playing no games with that mess at all with that.
Yeah. So, because when I hit the transfer portal, they was one of the first schools to call me and try to get me to go there.
Oh, word. That would have been crazy if you would have did that. Look at me. That would have been crazy if you would have did the UVA. But I remember when you hit that transfer portal, that joint hit Twitter like wildfire, boy.
It was crazy. My phone was crazy. Like,
I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna tell a small story, but I know you know, because when I was in the office and I went back and I told Boo, I said, "Yo, Boo, Jermaine in the transfer portal." He said, "Is he? Shit, damn shit." So we called you. We called you. You remember we called you?
Yeah.
And Boo was just like, yo, just making sure. He's like, just wanted to make sure that you knew what you was doing. Like, you know what I'm saying? He called you. And when I told him you was in that portal, Ted came running over there to the Sportsplex. You know what I'm saying? Everybody came over there. I was like, hey, you know, he betting on himself right now. That's the way he feel right now. So, but yeah, he definitely called, though. He was definitely going crazy.
I had every school in the country call me. Like, I'm talking about from North Carolina to Kansas, Arizona. Like,